Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time to review I Saw the TV Glow. This is the newest film from Jane Schomburn, whose debut, We're All Going to the World's Fair, is a gem of indie filmmaking. Really inventive, exploring some unique ideas that other films don't seem to be tapping into, and so I was super pumped for the next film from this director. And dear God, it does not disappoint. Even if you didn't like World's Fair, you should still see this movie and be excited, and you'll probably like it. But if you did like World's Fair, my goodness. If you like Teton, you are probably going to really like this film. But before I, deeply praise pretty much nearly element of this movie, I will say that it's going to leave you with a lot to chew on. And I would even say for myself, I don't know if I have a completely solid grasp on the film, but I can't wait to see it again, and I felt that way the second it was over. And I certainly have been tossing it over in my mind since I watched it, and I feel like I'm extracting some really good nectar from the ingredients that it gave me. It's about a high school student who befriends another high school student over the love of a show called The Pink Opaque. This is during the 90s, so shows were programmed and you had to catch it as it was airing. And because both of them are so socially isolated and feel outcast from society, the show immerses them so much that it serves to distance them even further from their realities. With this film and World's Fair, I think Jane Schomburn is exploring the relationship that young people have with screens and media, the way that it seems to integrate into our psyches, and specifically the psyches of lonely or outcast people in the world, specifically queer people in the world, and the media that they're drawn to, the way that this seeps into these characters' realities. And in this film, that concept reaches explosive heights. It's like a disturbing psychological portrait of dissociation. But I think the show provides for them like a path and a mission that is more compelling than what the real world has to offer. And I don't even think it's a film that's about like the harm of media necessarily. I think the relationship that the characters form with it is true to themselves and true to their identity. And also a consequence of a world that doesn't offer them enough. I don't know if I want to go too much more into like the themes, maybe when it comes out, we'll see it again and we'll do a spoiler talk about what our takeaways are from it. Certainly people are going to be wanting to share their thoughts about this film. I can't wait for people who just know this is their kind of movie to experience it and to see what they take away from it. In terms of style and visual presentation and what this movie's offering on the level of sound and soundtrack, it's so thoroughly entrancing and well constructed that it completely transported me. It felt like the film itself was begging for me to disassociate and enter a trance-like state. And in a way, that the vibes were the most exciting part about this. This is a movie that you stumble out of when it's done. You're just gonna be like... It really like gets under your skin. And the movie's not over when the movie is over. Those are the best kinds of films. Like they kind of sink into you. They become a part of your psyche. The craftsmanship's amazing. Jane Schomburn never seems to take a predictable route in terms of like what types of music are being used in the film or what types of shots are being used or even where the story is going. Nothing feels predictable. It's all so refreshing. There are a couple parts of this movie that are like crazy. Like, whoa. All right? I would just love to know what Jane Schomburns media diet looks like, because there's clearly a lot coming in, and this baby, this child that they've created is a very strange amalgamation of the content that social media people are creating, just as well as something like Cronenberg or Lynch's work. One thing I found really exciting was, having grown up at least partly in the 90s, this film has a backrooms kind of vibe to it, where it takes these familiar and liminal spaces and makes them the backdrop to many of the scenes. Parking lots, school hallways that just seem to stretch on endlessly. Fun zones. Fun zone. Like fucking fun zones. The color palette that this film feels absolutely perfect. No shot feels like it is located in reality completely, and everything's just a little bit untethered and a part of the world the film's creating. Sonically, this was masterful. I mean, the soundtrack is going to be very popular for this film. Apparently, A24 allowed the director to commission 16 original songs. I did not count 16, but that's Phoebe Bridgers multiple times, folks. But every song that comes up, I was like, I need the spot to be on Spotify right now, listening to that, injecting that into my ears. The score has such a nice way, in a similar way to We're All Going to the World's Fair, integrating itself as a integral part of the film, almost like sound design. I'm hearing ambiance, but if I dig into it, it's like TV static and other such noises that feel like very integrated into the atmosphere and the themes of the film. The work that Alex G is doing with Jane Chambrin is very exciting. And in general, Jane Chambrin easily cements themselves as one of the most exciting filmmakers working right now, really paving their own path here, like a truly original filmmaker, really. Also loved the performances of the leads here. Authentically awkward performances. You feel those characters' disconnection from their reality and like their uncomfortability in the world. Bridget Lundy-Paine's performance, I would say especially, is incredible. Yeah. Loved this movie. Intoxicating, deeply unsettling, rattled me, excited me about cinema in general. I feel like my rating is pending on whether or not this is a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I need to see it again to kind of confirm if it gets up there for me. Same for me. This is a 9 out of 10 on the first watch, but I'm going to see it again. Maybe it goes up. Could be the best movie at Sundance. We'll be lucky if we top it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What's your childhood TV show obsession?